What's good, YouTube? It's Kareem Samdi back again with another video. So, healing the root chakra. In the last root chakra video, I talked a lot about the concepts and how to deal with generally working with the overactive or the underactive root chakra, but today I really wanted to focus more on it because I felt like there was a lot more to say still. And the reason why I also feel that way is because I personally believe that the root chakra is one of the most important chakras, if not the most important chakra, to balance out when you're first beginning your spiritual journey, when you're first coming into consciousness. And the reason why I say it's the most important is because essentially if you don't have a grounding force in your life before getting into things beyond the chakras, when we're talking about different spiritual concepts, right? If you're not really grounded in your reality, you're not really securing your reality in the physical reality, there's going to be a lot of things pulling at you in different directions, and you'll be vulnerable to different agendas. You'll be vulnerable in many different ways. Your other chakras won't really have a foundation. The root chakra is the foundation of our being. We have to really make sure that we have this secured. We have to really make sure that we have a firm understanding of our place on the earth, a firm understanding of our reality on earth, our mission on the earth. And it takes a lot of discipline to really get that under control, because what imbalances this chakra the most is fear. And fear is the largest thing that's pushed against us, because truthfully there's only two different real emotions that you can really feel. Everything is a subset of these two emotions, and it's love and fear. And the things that imbalance our chakra are a result of different fears. So that is why there's a lot of agendas trying to keep you caught up in worldly events, trying to keep you caught up in this Russia and Ukraine thing, trying to keep you caught up in the Asian flu that happened a couple years ago, trying to keep you caught up in different diseases that come up every now and then, trying to keep you caught up in different mass murders, different mass catastrophes that may or may not be planned, right? We will get into those things later on, but there's always something, is what I want to tell you. There's always something being pushed on you by the media, always some agenda being pushed on you, literally almost everywhere you go, it seems. Even when you're being indoctrinated in the public schools, the things that they teach you are to reinforce different fears, reinforce different subconscious fears. A large reason behind why slavery is taught so heavily on the black people in America is because it induces a subconscious fear. It induces a subconscious victimhood, and it's played on you every single day to reinforce that every single day. There's a lot of things that reinforce that same victimhood of slavery, different types of ways, and it was indoctrinated so heavily because it's a part of keeping people's consciousness down. And now, even now, there's much more different things that are being used against everyone, because if everyone can be a slave in terms of, feeling fear everywhere that they go, being paranoid everywhere that they go, worrying about the government all the time, worrying about what's going on the other side of the world pretty much all the time. If they keep you occupied observing those things, you'll live in a constant state of fear. When you're in a constant state of fear, your spiritual field around you is constricted. See, when I was in a chakra class led by Khadija Samdi, you can go check her out. When I was in a chakra class, we saw there was a picture that showed just what exactly the fear does to the auric field. And normally our auric field extends around 6 feet around us, but she showed in this one picture that when you start experiencing fear and different emotions, your auric field actually shrinks, and it shrinks, I think, to at least very close to your body. That's how much it shrinks. And if you ever notice, we've all felt fear before, right? And when you feel scared, or when you feel subconscious fear, because there's a lot of different emotions that are reinforcing fear underlying. They might be subsets of fear, but when you feel genuine fear, do you ever notice how weak you feel? Do you ever notice how powerless you feel? Whenever we go through genuine fear, we always have what we could describe as a panic attack, and genuinely feel like we're powerless in those situations. I've talked to people that have panic attacks on a daily basis, and they always describe that they feel so powerless, and panic attacks are generally a result of your own mind playing against you, reinforcing things against you. And when you feel like you don't have that much control, that's essentially how we're living every day. Not only is humanity living in their shadows, and that's also preventing them from ascending to their highest godhood, but humanity is also living in a perpetual state of fear every day. It's like you almost breathe in fear every day. And the reason why, a lot of this information that, you consider that the powers that be would hide from you, right? But a lot of this information that they're letting you have is simply just to reinforce a different state of fear. Because let's look at it this way: if it really was that, if the information that we have now, what we call the powers that be, right? If the information that we have now would be so detrimental to them having power over you, you wouldn't be able to access it. At least being able to find out things just by reading books and going on the internet, you wouldn't be able to access it. But the reason why it exists is because they know they can push a certain agenda on you, in which you'll live in a perpetual state of fear or observation, or just letting go of your power to them. See, when we talk about the Illuminati, when we talk about all these things, we always like to say, oh, someone's controlling the world, someone's pulling the strings, right? Like I said in the solar plexus video, we're giving away our power to them just by saying those things, right? So I don't believe in any power outside of myself controlling my reality. Do I know that there's active forces that want to integrate their agendas to at least have an influence over the masses? Yes, I do. But that doesn't have anything to do with my reality. See, this is the thing with the root chakra. You want to be focused on yourself. It takes a lot of discipline to be focused on yourself, especially when you've been programmed. You've been programmed to conform to society. You've been programmed to follow the herd and what the herd is believing. See, the herd mentality is going to hold you back, because that's conditioned in humanity, right? We have to go with what the masses are doing, but clearly the masses don't know shit. So you can only follow yourself at the end of the day. I don't even want you to follow me. You should want to follow yourself, find your own path. The only thing that I'm here for is to inspire others to go on their own path, give you a little bit of information, and you do with it what you will, see whether it resonates or not. But personally, I've experienced that I'm in control of my own reality, and you should know that too. But that all starts in the root chakra. See, we have to heal these things within us, and we have to let go of these fears. We have to let go of white versus black. We have to let go of this country versus that country. We have to let go of men versus women. We have to let go of my flag versus your flag. What I see in my spiritual path versus what you see in your spiritual path. It doesn't fucking matter. Like I said in another video, we are all one body. We have all originated from darkness. So at the end of the day, we're all one at the end of the day. God, devil, it's still all one. So the reason why you're being manipulated on every level is to keep you stuck in humanity, because the thing is, because we're all one on a higher level, but when it comes to humanity, we're experiencing separation so we can understand different parts of the Godhead, right? So, but before you can ascend, you have to understand where you are in humanity, and that starts in the root chakra. So when I say that, different forces, they want to keep you down, and the reason what they do to keep you down is to keep you caught up in humanity. So there's always going to be an agenda to make you feel like a victim. There's always going to be an agenda to make you shift blame to someone for your reality. Shift blame to certain people, certain groups, whoever it may be. It's all made to give you to have you give power to other forces. So if that's what you continue to do, out of fear, out of ignorance, out of a misunderstanding, you'll never know your spiritual purpose. You'll never know your spiritual truth. This is why the root chakra is important to stimulate. It's important to look into. It's important to find your place in the world. And it's also really important because, the root chakra also deals with security. And so if we're not secure in our place in the world, right, then we'll also be losing our spiritual power as well. because it's a lot harder to be spiritual when you don't know where your next meal is coming from. So you really have to really find a foundation for yourself, find something secure for yourself. Like, if you don't have a job, right, but you know, and you don't really have anything else to focus on, you can't do anything spiritual because your ego is going to be so focused on survival. So it's important to really find your groove, find something that's going to at least keep you afloat. But when we're ignoring those things, when we're neglecting those things, you know, because I see in the spiritual communities, a lot of people say that, you know, hey, I don't need a job, you know, I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that. 9-to-5 slavery, why do it? You know, and I understand where they're coming from, because jobs are generally structured to keep you in a perpetual state of distraction, right? Especially if it doesn't resonate with who you are on the inside. Jobs are a form of mind control, because you have to be you are kept going to places where you know that you may not resonate with being at. So I understand where people are coming with that. Now, you know, the only problem that I have with that is that these things are a necessary evil, because you have to at least have some kind of security for yourself. And if you choose to see it as slavery, it becomes slavery for you. If you choose to see it as a stepping stone, as something that's going to get you closer to where you need to be, then that's what it becomes, right? Obviously, don't stay in environments that are toxic to you. Don't stay in environments that are draining to you, regardless of the way that you have an outlook on it, right? Whether your outlook is positive, whether it's negative. But like I said in other videos, you know, it's all about your mindset going into things. You know, you wanna at least have something going for you, so that way, when you do get the time to yourself, you can really go within and figure out what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. Then take that time and do those things. Once you understand the idea, you see the dream, that's when you begin to take that idea and that dream out of the darkness and give it life through light and action. Action is light. So all the action that you take towards becoming who you know you're supposed to be, towards working towards your purpose, all the action that you take is giving it more light. And this is all about light. So the more light that you give, you know, the purpose that you have here, the more light that you give it, the more that your soul is intertwined with what you're doing. The more that your soul is intertwined with what you're doing, the more you close the gap between being in tune with your lower self and being in tune with your higher self. You close the gap and you just become self at the end of the day. So this is why the root chakra is important. It's important because we have to find our foundation, you know, and there's a lot of agendas to keep you focused on things outside of yourself. That's why the rent is so high. That's why the job hours are so long. But you have to find your way through it still, because at the end of the day, rent is still due. You know, that still matters. We can't neglect that. You know, we have to. If you're not doing the things that you need to do, you're not being a responsible adult. I mean, how can you do anything spiritual? You're not mature enough to do anything for yourself. And I would say I learned this lesson myself too, because at one point, you know, I didn't really want to work, but I had to do it anyway. I had to at least get my mindset right. You know, coming out the military, I came out the military, but you know, I was still focused on doing other things that I knew were supposed to benefit me. I never really let go. I always made sure I had income. I always made sure I was taken care of, because if I didn't, honestly, I would have struggled way more spiritually. And where times were rough, I was struggling spiritually when finances weren't right. I think everyone can attest to that. How can you really focus on, you know, something beyond this reality when you're so focused on this reality? Take care of the ego's needs first, or else the ego is going to keep bugging you. That's just facts. You know, if you're not really taking care of the ego is going to continue to get in the way. You know, and everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be on the top of their own world, right? And if we're not taking actions, right, we're not taking the risk associated with those actions, then we're gonna stay in the same place. You got to this same place doing things that made you feel comfortable, or doing things that got you here. So if you want to get to a different place that's better, you have to do better things. If you want to get to a place that's worse, then you do worse things. It's really all about your common sense and how you apply that to your actions at the end of the day. We have to see the root chakra as really just something that, okay, we have to have an understanding of how money works. You know, it's not just you meditate and you see the money coming to you and it comes to you. It doesn't work like that. You know, you meditate, you see the money coming to you as a result of you doing what you're supposed to be doing here anyway. You want to be focused on the things that you love, regardless of whether money's involved or not. I make these videos out of the kindness of my heart. I make these videos because I know I'm supposed to be guiding people. I don't care whether I get paid or not. See, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be writing. I'm supposed to be drawing every day. And I do that every day. And so, you don't want to just try to balance out the root chakra, perfectly just by doing things that you know are going to make you money. Because if it's not bringing you true satisfaction, if it's not bringing you love, then you're always going to feel your root chakra is going to get imbalanced anyway, because you might become a workaholic just trying to get by. You might not care enough, and then you'll start to neglect the root chakra. See, we have to really see this as like we're nurturing a baby. That's what the root chakra really is, nurturing a baby. You want to learn about financial literacy. You really do, because if they taught you about financial literacy, then there wouldn't be, there wouldn't be enough mind control to really keep people focused on money all the time. See, your problem is that you're focused on money all the time, but you're not really focused on doing the things that you need to do, just to take care of yourself, and then worrying about the stuff that brings you satisfaction. Like you wanna let go of the agenda that you have first. You let go of the agenda that you have, the other agendas won't get in your way. I promise you that. You can't have an agenda when you're doing the things that you love. The agenda that only agenda you should really have is just because you love it. That's it. That's my agenda when I make these videos. That's my agenda when I write my stories, when I write my books. That's my agenda when I draw every day. My agenda is just because I love it. I don't care about whether it reaches people or not. Whoever it does reach, if it does bring you light and it resonates, cool. If not, then I'm sure you'll find it elsewhere. That's, in my opinion at least, that's how we gotta be. With whatever endeavors that we have in this life, that's how we gotta be. That's how we gotta move. You want to understand how the world works, and you want to, with that understanding, you want to take that understanding and you want to transform it into something that benefits you. It's really all about letting go of our preconceived notions of the system. See, you've been taught to think that money is evil, right? You've been taught to think that money is something that only the corrupt can get, right? You've been taught to think that money is out of your reach. This is all mind control. Not only is it given to you through movies and TV shows, but it's also given to you whenever something comes out about people who have money in the media, right? It's all meant to gear you towards that notion so that you can keep those things far away from you. You can keep your purpose far away from you. And you have to find just a balance, because money is neither good or bad. Success is neither good or bad. Having an authority in whatever area you want to be in, having an authority is neither good or bad. It just is what it is. So you take it for what it is and you get an understanding. That way you can actually move forward. You can't move forward without knowledge. There's no power without knowledge. You have no power without knowledge. You have no success without knowledge. Knowledge is king in this world. And knowledge is also king when we're dealing with the root chakra. The root chakra is all about knowledge. It's all about understanding. Understand the physical reality. Understand how this matrix applies to the ego. Understand what we're doing here, and understand what you're doing here. When you understand all of that, that's when the alchemy really begins to happen. And here you also want to heal. You want to heal the masculine and the feminine energies within yourself, because that's what's going to help the Kundalini energy rise. That sexual energy requires both masculine and feminine to really merge together into the higher chakras, to really rise into the higher chakras. And that's just, you got to really get in tune with your intuition. You got to get in tune with your logic, depending on which one's further away from you. Get in tune with those parts of yourself. Learn and understand it. Like I said, read at least five different books on chakra at the very least, or read more if you need a firmer understanding. Get a firm grip over these things so you can really understand what you're dealing with here, because the chakra is, not only is it a ladder for your consciousness to really rise up and bring more light into your being, because it's essential to deal with chakras for enlightenment. I don't care what anybody says. It's essential to deal with chakras for enlightenment. But not only is it a ladder for your consciousness, but it's also an armor for you. So that way, whenever your chakras, or whenever they try to manipulate your chakras with mind control, you're already guarded against it. That's your power. That's you. Learn about you. This is all about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of self at the end of the day. So when you have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and control over the emotional body, no one can control you. It's either you controlling your emotional body or someone's controlling it for you. You choose. You choose at the end of the day. And you just want to have an overall drive to live. Like, I know that this is a matrix, but I still have a drive to live. Not because my drive to live is to help people get out of the matrix too. That's my drive to live here. That's what grounds me here. Is to inspire other people, to bring light to other people. And you should still have a drive to live at the end of the day. And when it's time to die, you should have acceptance for that. Be ready to let go. And if you need another trip back here, then it's okay. Just be ready to move on. We just have to have an understanding of life and death in this chakra. Understanding and acceptance. That's key. Understanding and acceptance is key to all chakras. If you have understanding and acceptance of self, all your chakras will be balanced. I guarantee you that. But with the root chakra, whenever you're doing things that coincide with your purpose, coincide with you connecting with yourself, connecting with the earth, learning things, you always want to light a red candle, wear more red. Just do things, get out into nature, talk to more people, talk to people of the opposite sex, learn and understand how people of the opposite sex work. Learn and understand them from your personal experience, not from what somebody else is telling you. Understand your opposite. In understanding your opposite, you also learn to understand yourself. Learn to understand people who are different than you, people who look different than you, people who come from different backgrounds. And read as much as you can. Knowledge is the foundation. Knowledge is the foundation of the root chakra. When we ground ourselves by reading these books, all these books into the occult, all these books in spirituality, you ground yourself, then your higher self will come down and break down the spiritual information in its interpretation. It'll give you the light. It'll give you that through dreams. It'll give you that through visions. It'll give you that through your clairs. That's how you do this. This is how we move forward with the consciousness, right? I'm giving you all of the answers, or at least my answers right here, how it worked for me. But it's obviously up to you to find your own answers. That's how we do it here. This is, I'm not here to play games with this. This is how we really get into it. This is the meat and potatoes of consciousness, the meat and potatoes of spirituality and the occult. But we're first starting with the self before we start to learn about the other things on this channel, right? So that's what I gotta say about healing the root chakra. And honestly, there's still a lot more that I could say about it too, but I really feel like I hit the nail on the head here. So I hope it inspires y'all to really, get in and start learning about chakras and also learning and healing your root chakra as well. I hope it motivated you guys to really get into your purpose, get into finding your way here, finding your place here on this earth, and just doing it at the end of the day. Regardless of the agendas, regardless of the mind control, I hope it inspired you guys and motivated you guys. Peace.